Good evening everyone, it's Christine here and I wanted to share with you a little craft project that I'm doing in readiness for it being Mother's Day this coming weekend. So it's Sunday evening now when I'm filming this and Mother's Day here in Australia is the following Sunday, so Sunday of next weekend. And I wanted to make a little gift to give to my mum and to my partner's mum. And I'm thinking I'll make one also for Ella Day, who's a puppy mum. And I'll probably end up making one for myself because I just love this little project. So it's basically a fabric painted with thread and then placed onto a little backing and turned into a brooch with a little sew-in brooch clip. Now what I have used is this beautiful fabric that I got in a recent package from the Sewing Lair online op shop, which has all sorts of fabulous vintage and secondhand fabrics. I like to just get their little fabric packs where they've just mixed up some different fabrics together, sometimes color coordinating, and you get some really interesting fabrics in them. You can't always tell on screen exactly what you're going to kind of be getting because you just get one little photo and you can't see a close-up of the design, but then you get instances like this where you just get the most beautiful fabric. And I was so lucky, I must have got two little fabric packs that had this material in it because I've got two sections of this material. Now it's not a huge section, but it's more than enough to do a lot of projects of the size that I do my projects. And what I'm also using are these little cork, and it's a very thin flexible cork. It's printed with something on the back and then just sort of the corky look, and I got those from the Reverse Art Truck. I've got a whole bag of them somewhere hiding here. Don't know where they've gone hiding. Oh, here they are over here. So I've got a whole bag of these shapes. I've got circles and then I've also got these sort of label-y shapes, I guess you'd call them. But lots and lots of them, including this little plastic bag, but also little zip-up pouch that also came from the Reverse Art Truck. So I thought, yep, I will use these because sometimes I was originally thinking I might use a jam jar lid, but I think it would have just been too heavy. So I like that when I have two of these, which is what I'm going to use in this and what I've used in this one, it's not heavy, so it's not going to drag down on whatever you're wearing it on. And it's still a little, probably by the time it's all glued together, it's but it's still got a little bit of flex in it. So and the fabric glue I'm using is one that's meant to sort of retain a bit of flexibility as well. And then I have just used a variety of threads. So five different colours on the front and then just a green on the back, but we'll get to the threads. But they're just regular embroidery floss, and for all of them I'm just using a single strand of it at a time to do my thread painting. So what I did, so yeah, these circles, if you were wanting to make something of a similar size, I just drew around this jam jar just to reduce the size of the circles that I had, just to make it a little bit smaller. So it's that size, but you could make it whatever measurement you want it and just trace around something round of the size that you want. And then I've got just a piece of fabric that I've cut out, and I'm thinking I will, for this example, I will use this flower here. I really like the color tones on that first one, so I'm going to stick with the purple. And so that will be it's good just to check that you'll be able to fold your fabric underneath like that to make, because you'll need to have a little bit of a margin around the edge to be able to turn it over and then stick it down on the other side, but we'll get to that as well. And I'll leave it just a bit bigger for now to make the stitching process easy. So let's get in and do some painting with thread. As you can see here, I've got a lighter pink, a medium pink, a dark, almost, I guess, burgundy, and then a white and a yellow. So they're all the colours that we're going to be using on this one as well. And then, I think I mentioned, yeah, the other bit we'll be using is the brooch hook at the back, but we'll get to that as well. So I'll see how I go for time, whether I can get all the stitching done, whether I need to fast forward it a bit, or you can fast forward if you don't want to watch the whole of the stitching in progress. I might move the background piece of fabric out of the way now, just so you can actually see what I'm working on. And I'm just getting a piece of thread now of the medium pink to start doing the painting with thread. It's funny, I was looking up painting with thread to see what other videos there were on YouTube, and there seems to be a bit of a craze at the moment where people are actually doing actual paintings with thread. So I had to sort of narrow my search to painting with thread and embroidery to not get all of the various people painting. They all seem to be painting ballerinas with thread. I didn't actually watch any of the videos because it wasn't what I was after. Oops. So we're just going to find where the darkest bit of the design is, and that's where we're going to put this medium pinky colour. And you don't have to be totally precise, you just sort of pick a point to start. And then I like to make sure I'm then popping up at the same end that I've come out of. So if I've come out at the furthest side of the flower, that's where I then bring my needle back in, sort of just next door to it without unthreading the piece. And you want to just follow the sort of the shape. So in this case, the radiating out, and I'm just going to jump over a bit further just to get my sort of shape happening, and then I'll fill in between. So I'll try and work as fast as I can. Although with me, that's never super fast. I'm a leisurely stitcher, I reckon. If you can see that, I'll try and also stay on camera. It's hard because I'm actually peering down through the frame of the arm of my recording where I've got my phone propped up. Sorry, I can't quite get the words out. So Sunday evening here, it's been a very, very relaxing weekend here. Have taken it very easy, which has been good. This afternoon, late in the afternoon, got our Woolworths, our supermarket delivery. I just do a shop at Woolies or one of the big supermarkets, usually every 4 to 6 weeks. So, and that's where I sort of get things like meat and cheese and other staples then, and things like cleaning products and that sort of thing, because we get a weekly delivery of fresh vegetables from local farms in the region, which is lovely. So that takes care of all our vegetable, fruit, and also our egg needs. And then we're lucky to have a beautiful French bakery nearby. It's called Blanc. And that's where we get our fresh bread from, and they also offer milk and other bits and pieces, so that's super handy that we don't kind of need to, the fruit and veg, otherwise we'd have to be shopping more regularly, but it means we can just do a larger shop every sort of 4 to 6 weeks and get it over and done with, and then not have to worry about it. And ever since COVID times, I've become an absolute convert to just the delivery, and it just makes absolute sense. I don't waste my time loading up a trolley and wheeling it around. I can just instead await its arrival and then quickly pack it away and pop meats and things like that in the freezer, package things up that need a bit of better packaging for the freezer, and get it over and done with. So that is done. It did disturb my sewing. I was going to probably do this video earlier in the day, but it's all right. And other than that, we've just done nice walks. It's been a funny old weekend. They were kind of forecasting bad weather again, and we've definitely had our share of rain, had some hail yesterday. But today, sort of by around lunchtime, I think it was, yeah, quite nice and sunny. And I'm trying to think now, has it rained again since then? Maybe it has. Maybe I've just been inside and doing various things. But yeah, we went up to, my partner and I and Travis the dog, went up to the nearby Botanic Park or Garden. I don't think it's called Botanic Gardens, but it's Wilson Botanic something or other. And it's built around an old quarry. So it's got this sort of higher walking area that goes right around the top, and then other little tracks that verge off. One of my favourite ones to do is down through a pine forest, which is lovely. But yeah, we just walked around the top. Alex is still taking it easy because he's still having some breathing difficulties and stuff like that. So we're just not putting him through the full hill climb that you get if you do go down through that pine forest and then round past the lake, and then there's a big hill to climb up. But that was fine. We just, yeah, meandered around the top and went and sat down on a seat in the sun while Travis had a good old sniff around. And lots of people were out and about, clearly, yeah, doing the same, enjoying the sunshine while they could. Which I guess you've got to do when the weather's, yeah, we're coming into autumn over here and soon into winter. Definitely getting that little wintry blast. I saw on the news that there'd been snow up on the Alps. I probably just need to angle a bit more as I go around the corner here. Hopefully you can see, but yeah, just putting in those little stitches. And then you just want to just fill in the area. So yeah, snow, quite a bit of snow actually, even Mount Donnabuang, which isn't too far from here. Yeah, kids were tobogganing. Alex is a keen skier along with his brother, so hopefully he'll be feeling back to his usual self by the time ski season comes around. He's got some further testing tomorrow to go along to at the Alfred Hospital here. And then some more testing the following Monday, which I'll need to drive him to because he can't drive after that second lot of testing. So we'll get to the bottom of what's going on. I'm confident of that. So I had such a lovely time today watching Leanne from Leanne's Crafty Cupboard, sharing her opening of the little Happy Mail I sent her. Such fun putting together the package. I've been so excited to kind of have her receive it. So it was so nice that it's arrived and just so pleasing to see her enjoy opening it so much, and to also just, yeah, see that the pieces I picked for her, the pieces I curated for her are to her taste. It's always hard sort of, yeah, preparing something for someone else, but I feel, yeah, having had the benefit of watching Leanne's videos and seeing a tour of her craft room, which is well worth a watch, I felt like I had a bit of a sense of her tastes, and yeah, it was just a good chance to send her some bits and pieces from my stash in some particular colour tones that I've seen that she likes. But yeah, it was such fun putting together that curated pack, so, and making it sort of look prettily presented. So I'm thinking I should, as I redo and reorganise the craft room here, that I should be making some nice little display cases myself with some little colour themes that I can easily draw from. So I'll have to think how best I do that without making a whole lot of dust collections. But just having things together can make it a lot easier to use things. I mean, it's funny, like with this piece, it was just, even though I'd got it in the mail a little while ago, I actually only opened up this little package today from the Sewing Lair. And yeah, when I saw this fabric, I was like, oh, that'll be perfect, because I'd been wanting to, or thinking about making some brooches for Mother's Day. And then, yeah, the fabric came in and I thought, yep, that's definitely the go. Oops. Try and just sort of keep your fabric, if it puckers a bit like mine did then when I pulled the thread too much, you just want to try and keep it straight, although don't worry too much, because we're going to be adhering it to that cork base. It won't be too much of a problem. So we had some lovely homemade bolognese for dinner tonight. Made it last night, so things always taste like, things like bolognese, lasagna, they always taste so much, I mean, they taste good the first night, but they taste even better when they've had a chance to sit and all those flavours meld. I throw so many vegetables when I make a bolognese. I think probably more vegetables than mincemeat go into mine. So carrots and zucchini, corn, cauliflower, kind of just put whatever I've got on the go. Onion, obviously, and then, yeah, tinned tomatoes. Still got some summer tomatoes, although I think this most recent cold snap will have definitely probably done those plants in. Oops, just unthreaded my needle. So for those of you heading into spring, you'll be having all your amazing spring planting ahead of you. I'd love to hear if anyone's got exciting plans for the gardens. I've actually got to check what bulbs I've got in stock and check if I've missed, if I'm too late for buying bulbs from my favourite bulb supplier. I just love ranunculus. I just think they're gorgeous. So I definitely want to plant some more of those. I might have some saved bulbs from last year, I think. Done that one, and then this one I guess we do. So it's always just thinking what direction you want your threads to go, thinking what way would the flower be kind of, the petal be orientated. And you don't have to fill it entirely in this case, because it's got that nice slightly darker purple behind it. You just get a nice effect, even if there's little gaps between your threads. You can always go back around and sort of add further stitches if you want to. You can do painting with thread on huge designs, but I like this one, this little project, because it's just a small single flower that you're picking out with the thread. So it's a quicker project. I guess we'll see how long it takes, even with me gossiping away. Hopefully not too long. If it's going longer than an hour, I'll have to cut and splice or fast forward or something. think I'm following my own rule of popping back in where I've gone to the end. I just got into a bit of a habit of just going up and then going back down to the base, but it's not, these stitches aren't that far apart. I mean, they're not that long, so it probably doesn't matter too much. Just put one more in at the end there. Okay, and then we'll come down to here. Okay. So again, I'm just filling in where there's that medium colour. And then after this we'll come through with the lighter colour, and then we'll come through with the darker colour. It's one of those things when you start out, you kind of go, oh yeah, it's looking okay. Not totally convinced that it's looking awesome, but as you get all your different stitches together, it just all coalesces. So I'm definitely going to do some more Happy Mail packages, because I did have such fun putting it together and such fun and joy from giving you something. Yeah, it's a blessing to be able to gift things, and in my case I've got plenty and plenty of fabric, and I have lovely supplies like the reverse art truck, so it's nice to be able to share the bounty and not just have a stash that you know you're never going to get through all the pieces in it, or the quantity that you've got of some of the pieces, so it's nice to be able to share. And as I've mentioned, I don't have many, well, don't really have friends that stitch who are my sort of face-to-face existing friends. They're not really into slow stitch. So yeah, it's nice to be able to share with some of my friends through YouTube or through Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. And it's lovely when you do get to know someone's or get a sense of someone's style. I wouldn't say I know Leanne's style, but have a sense of the types of things that she likes working with. And also just a sense what she might have in her stash already, and try and sort of complement that. I do love those craft room tour videos. I love people's haul videos, and I love people's craft room tour videos. I love where they share books and inspiration. Love watching people's projects and their stitching and their chatting. When I'm doing my own stitching of an evening, it's just such a comforting thing to have someone else chatting away. Both seeing their work, but just hearing about other people's lives and adventures. Another stitch in there. Oops. Maybe another one just up here. Okay, and then let's move over to here. Go up there. A little one in this little area in between. because these are longer ones, I am doing that trick of coming up near to where I pop out or down. It helps avoid the puckering of the fabric, but also, yeah, saves you your thread as well. So I think I've done enough around the outside. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I will just, let me just double check there's nowhere else I need to do some stitching. But yeah, I reckon I can use the paler one in the other bits and then the darker one, yep. And again, you can improvise a bit if you want to slightly. I think in one of these I used the mid-tone where I had the darker one on the outside of the leaves because I just don't want the fully dark one. I just want to save the dark for the centre. Put the thread into my jar. That's where I make my little bird's nests from. Okay, so then we'll get our lighter pink. Let's just get a single strand of that. There we go. I swear the threads always stick to my hands, my dry hands. Okay. Oh, ouch. Just gave my finger a little prick. Okay, now where can I see? I don't think it's that ergonomic filming when you're trying to peer around your camera. Oh boy. I should work out a different angle for it. I'm a bit constrained because I don't want to screw it onto the table here because then if I bump the table it moves all the time. So I've now got it sitting next door to me on a set of shelves on the sort of top wood bit of that. It just means that it comes down in front of me when I'm doing the up close stuff. When it's higher up, it's not as obscuring. Oops. I'll do one more there. And then, I might put one more in here. Through to there. And then I'll do the lighter colour coming around here as well. Oops. It's incredibly relaxing doing thread painting because you can just, you're not having to think as much about the sort of the design, as long as you just know what shade you're sort of following around. You can just let your needle kind of do its thing and just sink into the relaxation of the feeling of the piece and the sound of the thread going through the fabric. I really love doing thread painted pieces. I think I love it all. I love creating it all, but thread painting on a little piece like this is super satisfying. It doesn't use too much thread either, as you can see. A single strand sort of did us all the way around, I think, for the medium purpley pink. So again, I'm just doing that popping up where I pop down as much as possible. So if I've popped down through the top, I'll pop back up through the top and then down to the bottom. And then I'll pop out next to that stitch down the bottom. And with these stitches, I'm just sort of taking them up or down just a slight bit more than the other one, so they're just not sort of all in a totally regular line. Just helps to give you that beautiful effect of a flower petal and the light catching on it in different ways. So I'm pretty sure in other parts of the world Mother's Day is actually at a different time, but do let me know if it's Mother's Day where you are. We're just going to have my parents and Alex's parents and Alex's brother and sister-in-law over for lunch for Mother's Day. So I'm just pondering what to make, given it is that cooler weather. Maybe a lovely soup or two and lots of nice bread and maybe some nice pastry goodies to go with it. Possibly, I quite like making a pasta with caramelised pumpkin and sage and brown butter and nutmeg and lots of parmesan and parsley. So did I. For lunch today, I was just looking in the fridge and realised I had some leftover mashed potatoes with also carrot in them, so mashed potato and carrot from dinner 2 nights ago, I think. And I decided to make some gnocchi with them. I've not done it before using mashed potato, that you'd kind of prepared as mashed potato. But it worked fantastically. Just added 2 eggs and enough flour to make a sort of, I guess, a dough, just plain flour. And then rolled them out with a bit more flour, put them in some boiling water, waited till they rose to the surface, just left them in there a smidge longer, and then put them in a pan where I had some, what's it called, that big long, like an onion, my goodness, where has my word gone, that big long green thing, shallots? Yeah, shallots. Had shallot in there, which we're caramelising with a bit of butter, and then put in a whole punnet of baby spinach, fresh parsley, lots of fresh parsley from the garden. And then served it with parmesan, and it was delicious. It was divine. So I then put, once I'd taken the gnocchi out of the pan, I put them out of the boiling water. I put them in the pan with the browning butter and all the goodies, and let the gnocchi sort of caramelise as well on a couple of sides on each of them, so they get that sort of caramelisation as well. See how quickly it comes together? So we're now going to keep going, and let's go to the darker colour now. Just threading my needle. Sorry, I should do that on screen as well. Although I'm sure you've all seen and done many times, needles being threaded. Did I tell you I'm wearing my pajamas again? So definitely self-care weekend. Got different pair of pajamas on now. Again with bunnies though. These are this year's Easter pajamas, and they're Beatrix Potter Peter Rabbit pajamas, which is rather lovely. Okay, excuse me while I find my spot to peer through the camera frame again. It's like I keep forgetting where I need to look. Okay, so we're gonna could have gone that bit further on that one actually, but I'll just make that the darker colour. It's a very nice burgundy, this one, a really rich, almost wine coloured. Lovely. Well, almost prickled myself again. Just gave myself a mild prickle with the needle. This is a sharp little needle, but it's good. You want a finish needle for something like this, just so you're not putting big holes in the fabric. Just going to pull down the thread because I caught it on my finger and don't want to pull out of the needle. That will slow us down. So yeah, this is a very doable craft if you're wanting something to either for Mother's Day or another nice just little gift to give. And if you don't have those little cork things, which you probably don't have those little cork things if you haven't been to the reverse art truck, you could even just use cardboard, like repurpose some cardboard that you get in packaging. Probably not the thick cardboard, but some of the thinner, more sort of sheet-like cardboard. Or you could even put a few layers of like scrapbooking card together. I'm sure if you look around, you'll find something that's able to be repurposed. And you just need 2 of them for the way I'm doing this one, but you could always, again, do something slightly different yourself. Okay, let's keep going around. I do love how it comes together. I even get excited as I sort of watch it. Oops, got a knot. So I watch it come together. It's like the flower sort of emerges out of the stitching. But yeah, super happy with this this fabric. Just in love with it. The sewing layer, for those that if you are in Australia, they generally only release stock once or twice a week, and if their normal sort of almost guaranteed day to release stock is a Sunday. Sorry, I've got a little knot. Oh, there we go, it's out without breaking the thread. They generally release stock on a Sunday at 12 o'clock Brisbane time, which is at the moment 12 o'clock our time as well. So I jumped on today and I did actually buy, they had a whole batch of vintage crochet thread in all different colours, and I just couldn't resist. So my partner will just roll his eyes, but if it's something I don't have and I'm going to definitely use, which I will, then yeah, I think it's fine. And again, some more bounty to share and some more happy mail. So if you're a subscriber and a commenter, stand by. Got to actually investigate sending things overseas. Haven't done that for a while. Used to have various pen pals and things, but I have some subscribers and commenters overseas who I'd love to get some goodies to, so I'll just have to investigate options there. Within Australia, it's very easy. I quite like the little prepaid satchels. The small one I can fit in just a regular post box and post it away, and I can also track its path and make sure it gets where it needs to get to. I was worried my first Happy Mail stitching had Happy Mail wouldn't get to its destination. That's why I made my little video just in case it arrived dishevelled or went missing. But such fun. Yeah, I think I just made a knot with my finger catching on it. Always the way when you're on like the last or semi-last stitch, you make a little knot, don't you? Goodness. Okay. So how do we reckon that looks? That's pretty good for the dark, so let's keep powering along. I'll pricked myself again. There's a tiny bit of blood coming out of that one, but that's okay. We'll just keep that finger away from the action. Poor little finger. I'll just pause for a bit of tea. Nice lemongrass, ginger and lime. Yum. They are, what brand are they? I just got some new ones today. Actually, it doesn't have the brand, just got a little symbol. It's a Madam something or other tea. Okay, so next up we will do the white. This one, yeah, this one we'll still do yellow, but it's got some more gold in the centre of this one than the other one had. So I'll try and leave the gold, I think. You could even do like a bead or something. I haven't done that in these ones. Because I think the pansy centres are a bit more, they're not sort of like a sticky outy centre, so that was my thinking. Sorry, I'm just threading the white. Get rid of that one. Through my knot, caught it with the other end of the thread. So I'd love to hear what you've been crafting away on this weekend. If you've got a link to share, whether it's to hopefully you don't pull your thread out of your needle as often as I do with my dry fingers. Yeah, I'd love to hear about your projects or see your projects if you've got a link to share. I jumped onto Annie, I think it's Annie Claxton from Arty Party Annie. I think that's what, I hope I've got that right. Does all sorts of amazing art forms. She's got a little community on a app called Discord. So I jumped onto that. Still got to get the hang of it. But nice to talk to other arty types and see other arty types' inspirations. I find arty people are lovely people. Creative types. Okay, so that's the white done. And again, you could even leave your sort of white centre unstitched. I just trying to do all of the flower with stitching. Snipperoo that off, and then a bit of the yellow. Again, just threading up my needle. Oops. Oops. Goodness gracious me. I think that's probably enough of the yellow in the, might put a little smidge more. There we go. We are done with the stitching, so now I can show you how it all comes together. Actually, we've got still stitched the little broochy bit onto the back. Now, on the previous one, I stitched that on once I'd glued the fabric down, but then I'd have to wait for it to dry, so I might actually stitch this on before I glue. Will that work? No, that won't work. No, I'd have to, yes, it will work. I just have to put the fabric on and then stitch through that. And then when I glue, yeah, that should still work, I reckon. Let's try this as a slightly different approach, just so that I can do it without having to stop and wait. So what fabric are we going to use on the back? Let's just cut a little piece out from the end where we've been chopping, I guess, or maybe over here. Although that's a nice little one to use for something else. Maybe I will just cut it from there. Just cut it here. Just cut it around here. Cut it like that. Okay. So, pop that on there like that. And come through from the back. Maybe about there. Oops, I just pulled through, haven't I? It's okay. Then I just want to position this approximately where I want it. Approximately central. I might actually just put a couple of little clips on it. Let's just see how we go there. Just got to go here and here. Just heard that Travis, the puppy's come galloping upstairs. I have my door on the craft room closed at the moment, just so I didn't have any other noises from the house. But then I heard Alex come up and say, "No, Mummy's busy. You can't always be with Mummy." So I just want to check that we're pretty much, yeah, I think we're even enough on the back. I just need to sort of keep coming through the same holes just to get enough stitches in to make sure that it's going to hold well. I can probably just go backwards and forwards across a few more times. So this nice, this cork's quite good because it's easy enough to stitch through. What have I done there? I've sort of split one of my threads. Let's try and catch it and do a few more stitches. Catch that and pop it down that way. Just want to make sure the brooch back won't come off. Oops. Feels pretty secure, but I'll do one more just to be sure, There we go. And then I'll secure it on the back by doing a couple of knots. And another knot. Oops, sorry, I'm just banging the camera. Don't want to go making you seasick. Let's do one more maybe. Do you get paranoid and just end up doing lots of knots? Right, so put that needle aside. So there we go, that's our back piece. Let's grab our card for gluing upon. So I'm just using this craft fabric glue, and I'll start off by doing this piece here. Now my fingers are going to get sticky, so normally I'd go and sort of wash my hands in between. Oops, why is that lid sticky on there? But there's the lid. Try not to get craft glue on my pajamas when I'm pulling the lid off with my pajamas help. Oops, and I've managed to catch a thread on it. So fingers going to get sticky as I sticky down. So as I mentioned on the first one, I actually glued down the fabric first, then stitched through it, but I think this is going to work just fine. And it just means that I don't have to wait in between. And then I'm going to put some glue down here. Well, in fact, what I do need to do though first, it would help if my finger wasn't really gluey, is just cut around because I don't need all of the fabric that's around it. Put that pretty bit in my scraps. So I'm just gonna smooshy smoosh. Sure, you could use a brush or something, but I tend to just use my fingers because for this bit I need to be able to kind of fold over. So you're just going to bring the fabric sort of folding around and using a bit of the glue just to push it down, if that makes sense. So you want to just do little folds so that you don't get any bits that aren't sort of rounded. You will find it kind of sticks a bit to your fingers, so it might take you a few goes. I'm just going to sit it down because it might be easier for me to do it rather than doing it in midair. Cards looking on the front, on the front of the back. Yeah, and I'll just put a bit more. So yeah, this is a fabric glue I got from, I think, just Kmart recently. I saw they had it in stock, so I thought I'd give it a go. I've been using Mod Podge, but I'm pretty sure this was a fair bit cheaper than Mod Podge to buy here. So you just want to adhere it. You could probably use PVA as well, although that set's a bit harder, so sometimes I don't like the effect of that on fabric. Doesn't matter too much that that's slightly off center on the back. I'm not worried about that. And then here, again, we want to probably work out where we want it broadly centered and then cut around similarly. I probably should have done the cutting before getting sticky fingers from the glue, but that's okay. It is what it is. Okay, so again, let's get our glue happening. We don't need that much on that side. So I'll just put that over here on the board. Okay. I might do it this way so I can actually see where I'm applying it to. And then use some of the spare stuff here. Okay, and then we'll begin the same process again. Just put a bit more on. So I hope you'll give this a go. Have a look in your collection, find a little flower that you think might be fun to stitch on, and as I say, even if you don't have the cork, maybe just use some card or something. Want to smooth out any of those slightly pointier corners. Pretty happy with that. And then which way do I want my, I think I want it to sit that way. Which way does it sit in the fabric? I think it's that way. Trying to look where that one is in the fabric. All by itself somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think it goes that way. Or is it that way? No, that way. That way. Okay. So I'll pop it on like that. So I put some more glue down. Smushy it around again. A bit more than that even. Right out to where the little curves and folded bits of fabric are. And then hold it that way, like that. Now at this point on the other one, I just used a couple of clips. Now what I found was it did start to leave a little imprint, so I'm only going to use it for a brief period, because I think if you leave it sort of as it starts to dry, there's a risk you'll get a little imprint from the clip itself. But it just means that I can pop these ones on. Another one over here. That's all I've got of those ones. Oh no, here we go. Another one over here. And then I just work my way around and just sort of try and make sure the glue's sort of, oops, sorry, made you buzz again by pinging the thing. I just sort of smooth around and Make sure the glue's not sort of oozing out totally uncontrollably, and just try and make sure it's all adhering well together. So there you go. Look how lovely that is. Shimmery. And then it's got its clip on the back. Could have done that slightly more straight, but hey, we were working fast. Really, really sweet. So there you go. 1 minute and 55 seconds. I better go. Take care, everyone. Have fun making one of these. I'd love to hear if you do. See you, everyone. Bye.